The coffee shop smelled like burnt beans and broken dreams. I wiped down the same table for the third time, my hands raw from cheap soap and too many double shifts. 23 years old, 2 jobs, and still couldn't afford to fix the hole in my left shoe. "Riley, table 6 needs clearing," my manager barked. I grabbed the grey bin and headed over, my feet aching with every step. That's when I saw them, a woman dripping in diamonds, her suit probably worth more than I'd make in a year, and beside her a small boy with the saddest eyes I'd ever seen. The kid was maybe 5, maybe 6. Hard to tell. He sat perfectly still, hands folded on the table, staring at nothing. His mother tapped furiously on her phone, ignoring him completely. "More coffee," she snapped without looking up. I poured. My hand shook slightly. I hadn't eaten since yesterday morning. "Hey friends, thank you so much for stopping by. Don't forget to comment where you are watching from. Someone close to you might be watching too. Like, share, subscribe, and tap the notification bell so you never miss a story. Make sure to watch till the very end, because the final twist is something you definitely don't want to miss. So let's continue." The boy turned toward me then. Our eyes met. Something passed between us. Recognition, maybe, of 2 people who understood what it meant to be invisible. He opened his mouth, and his small hand moved in quick, desperate gestures. Sign language. My heart squeezed. I knew a little. Had a neighbor growing up who was deaf. Taught me some basics before her family moved away. "Help me," his hand said. His mother slapped his fingers down. "Stop that. People are staring." The boy's face crumbled, but he made no sound, because he couldn't. The realization hit me hard. This beautiful little kid, dressed in clothes that cost more than my rent, was trapped in complete silence while his mother pretended he didn't exist. I couldn't stop myself. He was just, "Mind your business." The woman cut me off, her voice like a blade. She threw cash on the table, way too much, and yanked the boy up by his arm. He stumbled, grabbed the edge of my apron to steady himself, looked up at me one more time with those pleading eyes. Then they were gone. I found the note in my pocket an hour later. Tiny crumpled paper with an address written in shaky child's handwriting, and underneath, "Tuesday 3 p.m. backdoor please." My manager would kill me if I took another afternoon off. But something about that boy's face, about the way his mother had silenced him with violence instead of love, made me fold that paper carefully and tuck it deep in my pocket. The mansion made my teeth hurt. 3 stories of white stone and tall windows, gates that probably cost more than my childhood home. I almost turned back 7 times. Almost. But I'd seen that look in the boy's eyes. The same look I'd had when I was 8, hiding in the closet while my dad raged through the apartment. The look that said, "Someone please notice I'm drowning." The back door was open a crack. I slipped inside. The kitchen was bigger than my entire apartment. Marble everywhere, appliances that looked like they belonged in a spaceship. And sitting at the counter swinging his legs was the boy. He jumped down when he saw me, his whole face lighting up, ran straight to me and grabbed my hands. His fingers moved frantically, spelling something over and over. Tyler, his name. I signed back slowly. "Riley. Nice to meet you, Tyler." His smile could have powered the whole city. He pulled me through a doorway, down a hall lined with paintings worth more than I'd ever dream of touching. We ended up in a playroom that looked like it had never been played in. Toys still in boxes, books with uncracked spines, a rocking horse without a single scratch. Tyler climbed onto a window seat and patted the spot beside him. I sat. He pulled out a tablet and typed with surprising speed. "Nobody comes, nobody talks to me. Mom says I'm broken, says I embarrass the family." My throat went tight. "You're not broken." He couldn't hear me, of course. But I signed it, my hands clumsy but determined. He watched my fingers, his eyes getting wet. "Doctor says nothing wrong, born deaf. But Mom keeps taking me to new doctors, wants them to fix me. Last one hurt me." "Hurt you how?" Tyler's face changed. Fear flashed across it, raw and real. He pointed to his ear, then made a pushing motion. His hands shook as he typed again. Put things in my ear, said it would help, made it worse. Something's still in there. Can feel it. Mom doesn't believe me. A cold feeling settled in my stomach. What kind of things? He didn't know the words, just kept pointing, kept signing, hurt, stuck, please help. I looked at this tiny kid, this forgotten child in a palace of money, and made a decision that would flip my whole world upside down. Let me see. I'd worked at a nursing home before the coffee shop, had watched nurses check ears, clean them, deal with all sorts of things. I wasn't a doctor, wasn't even close. But I had a phone flashlight and steady hands and a growing fury at whoever had hurt this child. Tyler tilted his head. I shined the light carefully into his left ear. At first, I saw nothing unusual. Then the light caught something, a dark shape, pushed deep inside. My heart started hammering. Tyler, I'm going to try something. It might feel weird, but I'll be very gentle, okay? He nodded, gripping the edge of the window seat. I ran to the kitchen, found tweezers in a drawer, came back. Tyler hadn't moved. My hands were sweating. If I messed this up, if I pushed whatever it was deeper, I could damage his ear even more. But the way he'd looked at me, the way he'd trusted me enough to bring me here, I couldn't walk away. Deep breath, I signed, even though he couldn't hear the words. The tweezers went in slowly. Tyler's whole body tensed. I could see it there now. Something black, something that definitely didn't belong. It took 3 tries, my hand shaking, sweat dripping down my back. Then I had it. Pulled slowly, carefully, holding my breath. It came out all at once. A small twisted piece of foam, dark with old blood and something else I didn't want to think about. Tyler gasped, went completely still. Then the strangest thing happened. His head whipped around. His eyes went huge. His mouth opened in a perfect circle of shock. I can... His voice was rough, like he'd never used it before. I can hear... He touched his ear, looked at his hand like it belonged to someone else. Then he looked at me and tears started streaming down his face. You're talking, he whispered. I hear you talking. I was crying too, couldn't help it. Tyler, my name, I can hear my name. He was shouting now, touching everything, knocking things over. The clock, it ticks, the floor creaks, I can, Mom, Mom! He ran from the room screaming for his mother. I stood there with the bloody foam in my hand, my brain trying to catch up. He hadn't been deaf at all. Someone had deliberately blocked his hearing. Someone had pushed something into this child's ear so deep, so purposefully, that he'd lived in silence for years. But who? And why? The answer came in the form of clicking heels. Tyler's mother appeared in the doorway. Her face was white. Behind her stood a man I recognized from billboards and news sites, Victor Ashford, real estate mogul, owner of half the city's skyline. Tyler's father. What have you done? The woman breathed. Victor pushed past her, looked at his son, who was babbling and crying and laughing all at once, looked at me, looked at the thing in my hand. His face went hard as stone. Get out. Sir, I think you need to know. I said get out. His voice could have shattered windows. Security. 2 men in black suits appeared like magic, grabbed my arms. Tyler screamed, actually screamed, and ran toward me. No, she helped me. She made me hear. Don't hurt her. His mother caught him, held him back. Her face was strange, not angry but terrified. They dragged me through the mansion, Tyler's voice following us the whole way. The last thing I heard before they threw me out the gate was his father's voice, cold and sharp. Find out everything about her. Everything. I couldn't sleep that night. Couldn't eat. Kept turning that piece of foam over in my hands, wrapped in tissue, hidden in my bathroom drawer like evidence, because that's what it was. Evidence of something terrible. My phone rang at 2 a.m. Unknown number. Hello. Heavy breathing. Then a woman's voice, barely a whisper. You don't know what you've done. Who is this? Tyler's mother. Please, you have to forget today. Forget you ever met him. They'll hurt you. They'll hurt him. Just forget. The line went dead. I sat in the dark, my whole body shaking. Thought about ignoring the warning. Thought about my empty bank account, my 2 jobs, my life that was already hanging by a thread. Then I thought about Tyler's face when he heard his own voice for the first time. I called the police. The detective looked bored, checked her watch twice while I talked. "So you broke into a private home. The door was open. The child invited me." "A deaf child invited you." "He's not deaf. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Someone deliberately—" "Ma'am." She closed her notebook. "The Ashfords are one of the most respected families in the city. Victor Ashford has donated millions to children's hospitals. His wife runs 3 charities. You're accusing them of what exactly? Child abuse based on a piece of foam?" "It was pushed deep into his ear canal. That's not an accident. Maybe he put it there himself. Kids do weird things." "He's 5. 6, according to our records. Look, Miss Riley, it's just Riley. Riley Harper. Miss Harper, I understand you want to help, but making serious accusations against powerful people without evidence is dangerous, could be considered slander, could get you in real trouble." She stood. "My advice? Move on. Find a new job, since I'm guessing you won't have your old one after pulling a stunt like this, and stay away from the Ashford family." She walked me to the door, smiled like we were old friends. "For your own safety." The threat was clear. I went home, stared at my ceiling, watched the water stain spread slowly from the corner leak I couldn't afford to fix. By morning, I'd been fired from both jobs. The eviction notice came 3 days later, couldn't pay rent without work. The landlord wasn't sympathetic, had a waiting list of people desperate for my tiny apartment. I packed what little I owned into trash bags, slept in my car, showed up to every job interview I could find. Nobody would hire me. "You're just not what we're looking for. Position's been filled. We'll call you." They never did. After the 7th rejection, the manager pulled me aside, looked uncomfortable. "Look, I'll level with you. There's a flag on your name, in the system, the hiring system. Word is you harassed some rich family, made up stories about their kid. Companies don't want that kind of trouble. But that's not... Doesn't matter if it's true. Matters that it's there. You're blacklisted, honey. Should probably leave the city, start fresh somewhere new." I sat in my car and cried until I had no tears left. They'd destroyed me for helping a child, for pulling out whatever that thing was that had stolen years of his life. I had $17 in my bank account, quarter tank of gas, no job, no home, no future. And then my phone rang. "Is this Riley Harper?" "Yeah." "Who's this?" "My name's Beth. I'm a nurse at City Children's Hospital. I heard what happened. Heard what you found in Tyler Ashford's ear." My heart started pounding. "How did you—" "The mother brought him here. Demanded we examine him, figure out how he could suddenly hear. We found scarring, old damage consistent with something being forcibly inserted and left there for an extended period." Beth's voice dropped. "That boy should be deaf. Would be deaf. If whatever you pulled out had stayed much longer, it was eroding his ear canal." I couldn't breathe. "Who did it?" "That's why I'm calling. Because I've seen this before. 3 years ago. Different family, different kid. Same thing. Sudden deafness, parents frantic, then nothing. Family moved away. Child disappeared from our records." She paused. "And before you ask, yes, it was another wealthy family." I don't understand. Neither did I, until I started digging. "Riley, there's a doctor, Dr. Gerald Zimmer, specializes in childhood disorders, works exclusively with rich families, and every case of sudden, unexplained deafness in children under 10 for the past 5 years, he treated them first." My blood ran cold. "You're saying—" "I'm saying someone is deliberately deafening children, rich children. And I think I know why, but I need proof. Are you willing to help me get it?" I looked around my car, my home, my prison, looked at my empty life, my destroyed reputation. "Tell me what to do." Beth's plan was insane and brilliant. Dr. Zimmer ran his practice from an upscale medical building downtown, Impossible to get into without an appointment. Impossible to get an appointment without a referral from the right kind of doctor. But Beth worked at the children's hospital, had access to records, to forms, to appointment books. "You'll pretend to be a nanny," she explained over coffee in a parking lot. "Rich family, kid with sudden hearing problems. You'll wear a wire, get him talking, get him to explain his treatment." "Why me? Why not you?" "Because I have 3 kids and a husband who need me alive. You have nothing to lose." She saw my face. "I'm sorry. That came out wrong." "No, you're right." I stirred my coffee, black, no sugar, because I couldn't afford extras anymore. What's really going on? Why would someone deliberately hurt kids? Beth pulled out a folder. Newspaper clippings, printed articles, handwritten notes. 4 years ago, Victor Ashford was sued by his business partner, guy named Robert Chen. Claimed Victor stole his ideas, froze him out of a $1 billion deal. Case was about to go to trial, and Chen had evidence, documents, recordings, the works. What happened? Chen's daughter Amy, 8 years old, suddenly went deaf, completely mysteriously deaf. Chen dropped the lawsuit, moved his family overseas. Ashford kept everything. My stomach turned. The daughter was treated by Dr. Zimmer 3 months before she lost her hearing. Jesus. 2 years ago, a different family, last name Montgomery. They were about to publish a story about Ashford's company using illegal materials in their buildings. Journalist mother, activist father. Their son, Tommy, age 5. Sudden deafness. "Let me guess, Dr. Zimmer." Beth nodded. Family went bankrupt paying for specialists, stopped investigating Ashford, eventually moved to another state. And Tyler? Victor Ashford's about to run for mayor. His wife Catherine filed for divorce 6 months ago, threatened to expose his affairs, his shady business deals, everything. Then Tyler went deaf. Catherine dropped the divorce, stayed quiet. I felt sick. He used his own son. Insurance. Keep the mother in line. And honestly, I think he barely saw Tyler as human. Just another asset to control. Beth leaned forward. "But you broke the pattern. You helped Tyler hear again. And now they're panicking because if one kid's hearing comes back, people might look at the others, might start asking questions. So they destroyed my life to shut me up. And it'll get worse if we don't stop them." Beth handed me an earpiece, smaller than a pill. "This transmits everything to my laptop. I'll be parked outside. Get Zimmer to explain his methods. Get him to admit what he's doing. That's all we need." I held the tiny device. Thought about Tyler's face. About Amy Chen somewhere across the ocean. About little Tommy Montgomery, trapped in silence because his parents dared to speak truth. "When do we do this?" Beth smiled. It wasn't a nice smile. It was the smile of someone who'd seen too many hurt kids and finally had a chance to make it right. "Tomorrow. And Riley? Don't trust anyone. Not the cops, not security, not anyone. Ashford owns half this city. If he knows what we're planning..." She didn't finish. Didn't have to. I wore my nicest clothes, which wasn't saying much. A blazer from Goodwill, pants with a patch on one knee, shoes I'd borrowed from the nurse Beth worked with. The wire sat cold against my ribs, hidden under layers. My hands shook as I pushed open the door to Zimmer's building. The office was all glass and leather and soft lighting. A receptionist looked up, smiled with too many teeth. "Appointment?" "Yes, Riley Harper for the Westbrook family, 2 o'clock. The fake name tasted wrong in my mouth. She typed, frowned, typed again. "I don't see... Oh, here it is. Must have been entered late. You can go right back. 3rd door on the left." Too easy. Way too easy. Dr. Zimmer's office smelled like antiseptic and money. The man himself looked like every doctor on TV. Silver hair, kind eyes, gentle smile. He stood when I entered, shook my hand warmly. "Miss Harper, please sit. Tell me about the child." I'd practiced the story 100 times. "His name is James. He's 7. 3 weeks ago, he stopped responding to sounds. His parents are frantic. They've seen specialists, but no one can figure out what's wrong." Zimmer nodded, made notes. "And you are?" "The nanny. They trust me. Asked me to handle the initial consultations because, well, they're very private people, very concerned about publicity. Something flickered in his eyes. Interest? I see. The parents, are they by any chance involved in business? High profile? The father owns several tech companies. The mother runs a foundation. Why? Zimmer's smile widened slightly. Just gathering information. These cases can be delicate. Tell me, has James experienced any recent trauma, family stress, anything that might explain sudden hearing loss? The father's being investigated for fraud. It's been all over the news. I watched his reaction carefully. The mother's threatening to leave him. Take James with her. There. A flash of something calculating in his expression. How unfortunate. And I assume the parents want this resolved quickly? Quietly? They're desperate. Money's no object. Zimmer leaned back, steepled his fingers. Miss Harper, what I'm about to tell you stays between us. My methods are unconventional, not approved by the medical board, but they're effective, very effective. My heart hammered. I'm listening. Sometimes children's hearing issues aren't medical, they're psychological, stress-induced, and sometimes... He paused. Sometimes parents need their children to be unwell, as leverage, as control. Do you understand what I'm saying? You're saying you can make James deaf, temporarily, reversibly, using a specialized implant that blocks sound. It dissolves eventually or can be removed by someone with the right training. The parents get time to resolve their issues. The child recovers naturally. Everyone wins. I felt like I'd swallowed ice. And you've done this before. For select families. Families who understand the value of discretion. Families willing to pay substantial fees for such a specialized service. He looked at me carefully. The question is, are the Westbrooks that kind of family? I should have said yes. Should have gotten the confession and run. But rage made me stupid. Families like the Ashfords. Zimmer went very still. His kind expression vanished, like a mask pulled off. Who are you? I'm the woman who saved Tyler Ashford's hearing. I'm the one who pulled out whatever you put in his ear. He stood slowly. You're wearing a wire. Not a question. A statement. You're destroying children's lives for money, making them deaf, traumatizing them, ruining them. I'm providing a service, he cut in, voice cold. These people need solutions. Their children are tools, leverage, insurance policies. I simply help them optimize their assets. Assets? They're kids. They're rich kids. They'll be fine. Better deaf in a mansion than healthy in poverty, wouldn't you say? He walked to his desk, pressed a button. Security? I have an intruder. I ran. Out the door, down the hall, the receptionist shouting behind me. The earpiece fell out, bounced on the floor. I didn't stop. Hit the stairs, took them two at a time. Beth's car was already moving when I burst outside. I dove in, and we peeled away from the curb. Did you get it? I gasped. Every word. Beth's hands were white on the steering wheel. The part about children being assets, about providing services to rich families, about making kids temporarily deaf. She laughed, sharp and bitter. We got him. He knew I was wired. How did he? Doesn't matter. We have the recording. We can... A black SUV pulled alongside us. Then another. Beth? The first SUV swerved, slammed into us. Metal screamed. We spun. Beth fought the wheel, but we were going sideways, then backwards. Then we hit something hard, and everything went white with pain. I woke in a hospital bed, head throbbing, arm in a cast, ribs taped. Beth sat beside me, her face bruised, her arm in a sling. We crashed, she said quietly. You've been out for 6 hours. The recording survived. I uploaded it to 3 different servers before they could stop me. They? Ashford's people. They tried to take my laptop at the scene, but I'd already sent it. She smiled, and it was fierce. Sent it to every news station in the city, every paper, every online outlet I could think of, posted it on social media, made it viral before they could bury it. I tried to sit up, winced. And the world is losing its mind. Dr. Zimmer's been arrested, his office raided. They found records of 17 other cases. 17 children deliberately deafened over 8 years, all from wealthy families, all with parents who had something to lose. Tyler? Safe. His mother, Catherine, she's cooperating with police. Turns out she'd figured out what Victor did, why he did it. She'd been gathering evidence, waiting for the right moment. You gave her that moment. And Victor. Beth's smile got sharper. In custody. Charged with conspiracy to commit child abuse, intimidation of witnesses, attempted murder. That's us, by the way. And about 15 other things. His empire's collapsing, associates turning on him, business partners fleeing. It's beautiful. I laid back, closed my eyes. Let it sink in. We did it. You did it. You're the one who listened to a random kid, the one who cared enough to help, the one who risked everything. Lost everything, you mean? Maybe. Beth squeezed my good hand. Or maybe you're about to gain something better. The trial lasted 3 months. Every day more evidence came out. More families came forward. The Chen family returned from overseas with Amy, who'd had her hearing restored by a real doctor. Tommy Montgomery's parents testified, their son clutching his mother's hand the whole time. Catherine Ashford took the stand, her voice steady as she described discovering her husband's plan. How he'd threatened to deafen Tyler permanently if she left him, how she'd been trapped, terrified, alone. Victor Ashford showed no emotion throughout. Sat in his expensive suit, surrounded by lawyers, acting like this was all beneath him. Until Tyler testified, they didn't make him take the stand. He was too young, too traumatized. Instead, they played a video. Tyler in a child-safe interview room talking to a gentle therapist. I thought I was broken, his small voice said. Mom cried all the time. Dad didn't look at me. I felt like I'd done something really bad, but I didn't know what. I just wanted someone to fix me. The therapist's voice, soft. And how do you feel now? Tyler looked right at the camera, right at his father, watching from across the courtroom. I'm not broken. I was never broken. Someone broke me on purpose. But Riley fixed me. She didn't even know me, and she fixed me. Victor Ashford's mask finally cracked, just for a second. Something like shame flickered across his face. It wasn't enough. Could never be enough. But it was something. They sentenced him to 23 years. Dr. Zimmer got 18. Others involved got lesser sentences. Assets seized, fortunes redistributed to victims' families. I watched it all from the gallery, Catherine Ashford sitting beside me. Tyler was with his grandparents, somewhere safe, somewhere he could heal. Thank you, Catherine said quietly as they led Victor away. For seeing him, for caring. I should have been strong enough to... You were trapped. He used your son as a weapon. That's not weakness, that's survival. She nodded, tears streaming. What will you do now? Good question. The city had given me a reward, money for exposing the conspiracy. Enough to start over, enough to breathe. But I didn't want money, didn't want fame or recognition or any of it. I wanted to find more kids like Tyler. 6 months later. The office was small but clean. A desk, some chairs, a coffee maker that actually worked. The sign on the door read, Harper Advocacy, help for children who can't speak for themselves. Beth worked with me 3 days a week. Catherine helped fund us, called it paying forward the help I'd given Tyler. Other families from the trial joined in, forming a network of people who understood what it meant when children were treated as possessions instead of people. We helped kids escape bad situations, connected them with real doctors, real therapists, fought battles they couldn't fight alone. Tyler visited sometimes. His hearing was perfect now. He was loud, energetic, a completely different child. Learning to speak better every day. Still loved to sign, though. Said it was part of who he was, part of his story. The day the office opened, he brought me flowers, tulips, bright yellow. They mean hope, he said, proud that he'd looked it up. And new beginnings. I put them in water. set them on the windowsill where sunlight made them glow. "What made you help me?" Tyler asked. "That day in the coffee shop. You didn't know me. I was nobody." I knelt down, looked him in the eyes. "You weren't nobody. You were a kid who needed someone to see him. That's all anyone wants, really. To be seen, to matter." He hugged me tight. "You saw me. You made me matter." "Nobody. You always mattered. I just reminded everyone else." There are different kinds of wealth in this world. The kind that builds towers and breaks people, and the kind that lifts children from darkness and teaches them their voice has value. I'd been poor my whole life, broke, desperate, invisible. But standing in that small office, watching Tyler laugh as he told Beth about his new school, I realized something. I'd never been richer. And somewhere in the city, another child was waiting. Another small voice trapped in silence. Another kid who just needed someone to notice, to care, to pull away whatever darkness was blocking their light. I picked up the phone, ready to answer the next call. Because that's what I did now. That's who I'd become. I listened for the silent screams, and I helped them learn to shout. Dear friends, what you just saw is only one part of the bigger picture. In the next video, I'll reveal the twist no one saw coming, so make sure you're here when it drops. I would love to know what you would have done in this situation. Drop your thoughts below. I'll be reading every single comment. Thank you so much for watching. I love you so much, and don't forget to give this video a like, hit the subscribe button and share with someone who needs to hear it.